Tuipu Notolotu. Sione's out of the tournament. How will that affect Scotland's chances, and who is going to replace him? Hello, amateurs. Welcome back to our Six Nations series. Going to be with you throughout the championship and beyond. So hit subscribe down below to make sure you don't miss out on any future episodes. Now, today I am going to be looking at the Scotland team that I think will be selected to face Italy this coming Saturday in the opening fixture, with that massive decision being around the number 12 jersey that I've already mentioned. But it's a big loss to Tuipu. There's no question about that. He's probably, I think most people would agree, the best 12 in world rugby right now. But Scotland have got some good options, so it's not an absolute complete disaster as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I've been doing lots of preview videos for the whole country, you know, where the team is and all that kind of stuff. I haven't managed to get one done with Scotland yet. I've had a couple of guests lined up, but one of them selfishly got pneumonia and the other one's just super busy. So I'm going to still try and get that done. And if I do, I'll link it in the top of the description down below as soon as possible. And if you know any Scottish voices that you think would be great to hear from on the podcast, let me know in the comments down below as well. Always keen to meet new rugby people. Okay, squad updates for Scotland. The most interesting one is Josh Bayliss, the Bath rower, is out to be replaced by Alexander Masibaka, who is, I believe, Australian-born, but plays in the Pro D2 for Angoulême. So Gregor Townsend casting his net far and wide here to solve some problems, because we've got a few injuries in the back row there. Okay, as I said, this is the Scotland team to face Italy. So let's get into it. And these are the forwards that I've gone with, and there's a lot of familiarity here. In fact, hugely familiar. And this is one of the things about the Scotland team now. They are so well settled. They've got such a good core of players that they're just building year on year and year. And this understanding and this togetherness is a massive factor in why they've become such a good team. So no surprise to anybody, Schumann and Fagerson. I mean, Tuipu has been touted as a massive loss, and he is. But I think a bigger loss for Scotland would be Fagerson if he got injured, because he plays so many minutes, and frankly, the drop-off from him to the next player is massive. So yeah, Tuipu is a big loss, but Fagerson would be bigger, in my opinion, if that were to happen. Ewan Ashman in at hooker, who's playing fantastically well. You know, even if George Turner hadn't have gone to Japan, I think he's playing well enough that it would have been a very tight call there anyway. Gilchrist in the second row. And to be paired with Johnny Gray, Scott Cummings, excuse me, injured, broken arm before the tournament, and that's a big loss for Scotland as well. His bulk, his physicality really shone through, I would say, in international rugby, and I think that was a huge factor for Scotland. Johnny Gray is a sort of similar type of player, which is why I've gone for him, along with all his experience, of course, as well. And again, a very familiar back row in Fagerson, Darge and Dempsey, all playing fantastic rugby. There's a balance there of everything: ball carrying, physicality, tackling, breakdown work. It's a really great back row that Scotland have, and they've got some other good players as well that could come in if there are any injuries there. Into the backs, and again, familiar, very familiar. White and Russell, the half-backs pairing, Van der Merwe and Graham on the wings, Blair Kinghorn at fullback, who's been playing remarkably well for Toulouse, and I actually thought he was fullback in Scotland for some years now. Hugh Jones at 13, and I have gone for Stafford McDowell at 12. I gave this some thought. What would Scott, because Tuipu is an all-round player. He can do absolutely everything. He can run, he can pass, he can kick, he can carry hard, he can tackle hard. So he's got the full gamut of skills. He can do everything. And the players that could replace him have got stronger in some areas than others. I think I'll say McDowell's a stronger carrier, although he can pass and kick as well. And then you've got somebody like Rory Hutchinson, who is just a beautiful runner and passer of the ball, but maybe not as good in heavy traffic. And I think the thing that Scotland need most from that 12 jersey is the heavier carrying. So that's why I've gone for Stafford McDowell in there to replace Sione Tuipulotu. Okay, onto the bench. And that is wrong. It's not Ewan Ashman. He was there before. I'm going to go with Dave Cherry to come in on the bench. To come on off the bench. He's won a fair few caps, very experienced to come in there. Rory Sutherland at loose head, I think is the better option. It's Jamie Batty's a very good prop as well, but I think Sutherland's just slightly better. And on the tight head side, I've gone for the person that's playing the most rugby at the moment. So that's Darcy Ray for Edinburgh. He's either started or been on the bench on most of Edinburgh's games this year, whereas Will Hurd is quite a long way down the pecking order, frankly, at Leicester Tigers. And although he's played a few games recently, I just think Darcy Ray will be the better option there. Gregor Brown to cover the second row, Jamie Ritchie to cover the back row, and then Horn, Hutchinson, and Rowe in a 5-3 split on the bench. Scotland is still looking very strong. There's still that core of this side here. And although Tuipulotu and Cummings are big losses, I still think they've got enough here. And the players coming in are very close. They're very good replacements. So I expect Scotland to be strong. No reason for them not to be. Okay, and what do we want to see from this Scotland team against Italy? I think they're going to have to imprint their game on them. So what I mean by that is that they're just going to have to try and be on the front foot all the time, because if you let the Italians into the game, I think they're really, really dangerous. Now, Scotland, the game I'm thinking about was in the autumn against Australia. They absorbed a load of pressure in the opening minutes against Australia. And it showed another key thing that I think Scotland have developed over the years now, and that's confidence. A confidence that if they are under the cosh, they can do that. They can absorb that, because they came back and in the last 60 minutes of that game, they dominated Australia and won comfortably in the end. But if they'd folded a little bit or lost confidence in those opening stages when Australia were carrying hard, looking fluent, had dominant possession, then it could have been a very different story. So more confidence from Scotland and taking it to the Italians is what I want from them this coming weekend. Okay, that's what I think. But what do you think? Is this the team you think Gregor's going to pick? Have I picked the right replacement for Tuipulotu in the centres? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to join you there for a friendly conversation. And while you're down there, give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind. Perhaps other people find it. And you can subscribe there. You can watch that one next. And do not forget to get out and play.